I wanted it for this part, just not the other two parts, because that was an hour of playthrough, and we were meeting Chiyu and Tamarack, and it was really cool. But now we're here with part 3, and there's not going to be as many cutscenes or stuff, so yeah, VTube avatar unlocked. Also, I may or may not have forgotten their voices, but that's okay. That's okay. So we're on our way home with Chiyu and Tamarack. Your new neighborhood had become even more orange-toned by the time you finally returned to it. The far-off sun slowly sank away behind the tallest mountains and forests to sleep for the night. Your shadows grew larger, pulling away from your bodies to reach out to the street ahead. The dark shapes morphed and combined with one another as you walked in your own mismatched rhythm. All the while, the eyeball chillingness of the outside world got more powerful bit by bit. Tamarack still stayed about 2 steps ahead. Sometimes she was closer, and sometimes she got away from you again. She used her stick to knock at the bushes and lamps along the sidewalk. Chiyu was next to you, but had switched things up so that he was taking large skips backwards. You guessed it was to look at you in the face better, or he just thought it was fun. He pointed out the sharpest building on the street as he went. A part of it looked almost like a tower, a different kind than the ones in the backyard. See, that's the house from the front. It's great. And that's your house, right? The one in the middle? And Granny owns that one even farther away. Cool. The sounds of your steps continued to echo through the cul-de-sac until you came to a stop right in the center of the path. You'd arrived. Tamarack put both of her hands up in front of her chest and waved them around. I'm going home. Tamarack spun in place before dashing further along the sidewalk to the sloped gray house on the other end of the neighborhood. Her bag clung and jingled at her side the whole way there. Bye. Okay, this is it. Chiyu pulled out an eager grin. We gotta meet up again later. See you. Chiyu flipped around to go back the same way he had come with you. He needed to return the pointy red house with the huge backyard. He didn't drop any papers this time. He waited there in front of the house in the dimming evening light, watching the 2 other kids go to their homes right on the same street. It was cool to meet you too. That was everything. The whole outing was done. In the quiet resolution of your first day at this place, the 2 encounters you had earlier with the afternoon drifted in your head. Tamarack and Chiyu. Oh, yes. Okay, relationships. This is the one thing I was really looking forward to with this game. So, friends, of course. But also, I think we've already established that Andy may or may not have a crush on Tamarack, so crushes. I can move my face real quick. Wait. Okay, so if you see this, Tamarack is contesting, praising, and accepting, but Andy is a little boy and does not necessarily have those same, what do you call them, stats? I don't know. So how about maybe contesting, not teasing or praising, admiring or doting probably, and teamworking, praising. Oh, and Chiyu. I mean, Chiyu's cool, but Andy's got a thing for Tamarack, so friends, and you can be contesting with him, admiring, and unassuming, I guess, because I don't want it to be... Yeah, we're good. Okay. That's amazing. Things were so different for you from just that morning when you left and went on the drive to move. Before then, you'd never been in Golden Grove. You'd only seen it in pictures, and you hadn't known anybody who was a local there. But here you were, a person who lived in the town and was friends with the neighbors on both sides of your house, who also lived there. Were you friends, though? You thought so. And even though she wasn't there anymore, and a bunch of other things had happened that day, Tamarack was the only thing on your mind. Yeah, okay. What it was like when you first saw her in the leaf pile, when you started to talk, to know her, all the stuff with the paper airplane, she was special. Oh my gosh. Yes. The air outside kept getting even colder, but you were so warm on the inside. It was nice and comfortable in the place where you were. Getting even more lost in your own imagination, you wondered when you'd get to see her again. Andrew, is that you? Your ma called out from over the fence. Coming! You bounded forward and passed through the gate. Ma had left the porch and was there to meet you. Thank you for coming back. I'm sure you were having an exciting time out there. You're never gonna believe what happened! Wait, That's not his voice. You're never gonna believe what happened. I bet. But I look forward to hearing about it. From strength to strength, we've got the key to the house. The agent finally arrived about 20 minutes ago. They're gone now, but I haven't peeked yet. The both of us should be there for this. I mean, it's your house too. Yeah, this is our house now. Absolutely. Come on. Ma turned to go and slipped the key out from under her sweater pocket. She gestured with the other hand for you to follow. Your ma led the way as you went back up the stairs. The key fit perfectly into the hole in the door, and Ma smiled at the sound of an unlocking click. Carefully, she leaned forward with her shoulder, giving it a nudge, unsure if the best option for the ancient door was extra force or extra restraint. The house opened with a creak. Air came out through the front like it was exhaling. Ma let out a breath at this time. Over here, Andrew. There's a space for you to get a little closer. You can see inside here. You scooched towards your ma's side in the doorframe. It was then that you noticed that there was a mat on the front. It had a light color and a kind of hard but fluffy texture. The sort of mat that didn't get dirty looking right away when it was used. But it was still clean and nice. It hadn't been worn down at all, unlike the rest of the building. This part of the house wasn't just an old thing left behind by other people who didn't need it or want it anymore. Someone must have put it here for this happening. For your ma and you moving in. Written across the top it said, "Welcome home." Oh my gosh, I love this. Ma softly tapped the top of your shoulder, bringing you back into the moment. She kept her hand there, leading you ahead with her. The two of you walked through the door. Everything in the air was still. The wind was blocked, but it was practically as cold outside as it was out in the house. Ma shifted forward cautiously, feeling around for the light switch. Got it. A dim light from the ceiling sparked on in an instant, and there in front of you was an old-fashioned living room. The house had furniture that came along with it, but it wasn't a set. The pieces were mismatched, each table, chair, and bookshelf in a different color. They were covered in transparent sheets of plastic and in dust. The room had a real fireplace made out of brick in the back that you could see with a staircase up to another floor. Beautiful. It's even better than the photos. So much potential inside these walls. You were amazed. It could fit in a storybook. Ma was right. You had thought it'd be good, but it was somehow more than that. Your ma touched the tips of her fingers to the muted blue paint next to her. We'll have to clean as much as we can to make it livable before bed. It'll be a long night. We can unpack more of our things tomorrow, though. I'll be doing much of that on my own. You're going to be busy. Ma increased the pitch of her voice, squinting her eyes sweetly. After all, it is the first day of 5th grade. Oh my gosh, Mom. Oh wow, why'd you bring me here the day before school starts? Anxiety. But no, I am a 10-year-old little boy. So you threw your hands up in the air with excitement. She chuckled gently while watching you. We got here just in time, Her eyes drifted closed, and there was a crease in her brows. She seemed farther away without having gone anywhere. Even if I am here early for the job, I was not going to make you be a full week late to class. Being a new kid in the town like this is already going to make you a point of attention. You couldn't tell if she thought it was a good thing or a bad thing by her tone, but Ma didn't say any more about that. She lifted her circle scarf over her head, careful not to catch it on her opal earrings, and left it on top of her suitcase. So, want to see the upstairs? Yeah! The second floor was more of the same. Lonely, sealed-away rooms with furniture nobody had been using for ages that were covered up by all the plastic sheets. I mean, at least you got furniture free with the house, basically. It's not always that easy. And lots of dust. Oof. You could see the footprints your ma left behind in the grime as she wandered the halls with wide, amazed eyes. After checking the state of the whole house, Ma made the decision to leave the furniture in its protection until after the sweeping was finished. There were too many dust bunnies that night to jump over and take a seat on your couches if a spot was available. I hope I can remember where I put that dustpan. The room itself shouldn't be hard to find. You returned to the living room after Ma got her trusty pair of crafting scissors out of her suitcase. She put her scarf inside it, one taking the scissors out. Ma then went through some of the taped up boxes like it was her birthday, and each one was a shiny, unopened present with a ribbon on top. But her gift was just the stuff she already owned. One by one, she took out the supplies that had been brought for this very moment, setting them around her legs on the floor whenever there was space. Then she divided them out into separate piles. A pair of yellow gloves, a fluffy fresh duster, a bottle of cleaning spray, and a full roll of paper towels. Ma had a set of her own. The other was for you. You were going to need them. There was only one broom and dustpan that she didn't successfully find. You were going to take turns using that. The first move in the make a house a place we can actually live in plan was yanking open the streaky windows to get some airflow going. Though before even that, you had to get the locks on the windows themselves to come loose. Ooh, that's horrible. Especially if you don't want to break your nails. You dug your fingers in between the base of the window frame and the latch that pressed against it, forcing it to move against its will. When the lock clicked into place on the opposite side, you shoved the window up with both hands. Your gloves were already pitchy with filth. The ice-crisp breeze that flowed in from outside was a lot more welcome at this point. You got a look at the neighborhood while catching your breath. Streetlights had come on. But then you left the window there to do its job and to get back to yours. The two of you went back and forth, up and down, around the house, to open up everything that you could. Some windows were jammed in place so tight you had to leave it alone for your ma to get later. The next point on the list was to somehow scrub down all the floors, walls, counters, and every other inch of the space where dust could settle, which was every inch of the entire house. You picked a spot and gave it a sweep with the fuzzy head of the duster. A nice line of clear wood followed behind your motion. That pattern continued for a while, and whenever the dust layer was gone from a spot, you'd go back over it again with this cleaning spray to really make it shine. Your ma was able to track down and turn on the heater, not that you could tell the difference with all the windows wide open. Eventually, you had a short dinner break with your ma, standing around in the kitchen together with the two of you, as dusty as the rest of the house. It was packed meals from the car. Simple sandwiches, fruits with thick peels that wouldn't get smashed in the drive, little bags of granola and pretzels, and juice boxes. There were no groceries. The rickety fridge was off and totally empty when you checked. Oh, I would personally answer it was a relief there was nothing gross. But we're playing as a 10-year-old boy, so... It was disappointing that there was nothing gross in there. What's the point of having a weird old house if there isn't at least one jar with mysterious goo and lumps inside? The trash from your food was dumped into the same giant black garbage bag that you had been throwing piles of gray-stained paper towels and wads of squished tape together in for the whole night. Somehow, the bag was getting full, even though it was big enough to fit your whole body inside. It was a mark of how much work you'd already done. Looking at just the house made you think that you hadn't even got started. The only way to change that was to keep going, as your ma talked about when encouraging herself to clean after dinner. You and your ma polished up the house the best you could for even more hours. But when your usual bedtime arrived, Ma put the duster and the scissors down. She wasn't going to have you stay up late, no matter how excited she was to unpack. She guided you to the first floor bathroom. The ones on the second floor were too dirty to use, plucking her overnight bag off the counter along the way. Your ma explained how she'd go around throughout the whole house and close all the windows to keep busy until the bathroom was free, and left you to get ready for sleep. Inside the bag was a little baby-sized version of a normal toothpaste and mouthwash containers, and simple toothbrushes. All you had for pajamas that night was a green long-sleeve shirt with matching pants. You got as clean as you possibly could, with only a sink to use. Trying to get the grimy feeling off your skin wasn't easy, and it took way longer than usual, but it was crucial. Then you changed into your PJs and let your ma have her turn. While she was away... Okay, stuffed animal, action figure, doll, special blanket, special pillow. Why do I feel like this child, Andy, would like have a secret stuffed animal that he didn't tell anyone about, and then like, that'd be amazing. Oh my gosh, wait. Yeah, we're doing that. He's got like a secret stuffed animal. Oof. It wasn't something you could sleep without. Oh no! If people find out at your school you're getting bullied in the next couple of years, Andy, I'm sorry. The furniture was still plastic wrapped, so you crouched down and sat on the rug. Ma returned with only a couple minutes, wearing her purple pajamas. She also had sleeping bags tucked under each of her arms. She shifted one forward to hold against the front of her chest and dropped the other onto the floor. It landed in a poof. That'll be mine, your ma noted while trying to untie the band that kept the sleeping bag together in a roll. She pulled and pinched at the knot. Oh, sleeping bag knots are literally the worst thing ever, though. When it didn't budge, she lifted the bundle to her face and used her teeth to pry the threaded bands apart from each other. Oh, that's really bad for your teeth, though. She got it loose and victoriously flapped the bag all the way open. She laid it down in a clear spot on the wooden floor. There you are, Andrew. All ready. Okay. You used your feet and rocked back and forth to move yourself across the antique rug, scooting towards the sleeping bag without getting off the ground. Ma chatted casually while spreading out her own bag nearby. We'll need to get some wood so we can actually use the fireplace on nights like this. Did your ma know how to use a fireplace? You'd never seen one in person until now. And so far, you'd still never seen one that had fire in it. Luckily, the house was warm and cozy, even without that, since the windows had stopped letting the chill in. The heater worked. That was sort of surprise to you. Ma soon settled down in the center of her temporary bed. She sat cross-legged with her back solidly straight. Her hands came to rest on the tops of her knees, and she made direct eye contact with you. Thank you for the help with the house today. It'll be home before we know it at this rate. I worked really hard, you said while stretching your arms. I agree with that. She slouched her shoulders, easing away some of the stiffness. Hey, guess what I did in the neighborhood today? You hid behind the fence the entire time? No, Mom. Okay, tell me, dear. After pausing just a little to build suspense, you began to narrate the entire story of the paper airplane adventure. From the moment it hit to the way it led you down the forest crossroad, finding Tamarack in her leaf pile and all her surprises, then meeting Chew in his tower with his notebook full of loose pages. Ma listened with her whole self, leaning forward and grinning wider with each new turn you revealed. You wrapped it up by explaining how you'd returned to the neighborhood with Chew and Tamarack after everything you discovered. What a way to spend an afternoon. I'm proud of you, Andrew. You're a bona fide detective, I had no idea you'd gotten into such a winding journey. You kicked your legs up and down in your sleeping bag, very pleased with her reaction. It was a fun story to tell. Somehow the events of the day felt like they were a long time ago, or that they happened to somebody else. But you just heard about it. But it had been real. The paper airplane had really hit your shoulder. You held the note in your hands. You threw the paper away? Absolutely not. You were gonna give the paper to Chi, gave it to Tamarack. I'm just gonna keep this paper as a keepsake. You saved the paper with your things as a keepsake. It had nice memories that went with it. With your topic all done, Ma spoke softly to share her own thoughts with you. It's odd, imagining this entire building collecting dust for all this time, isn't it? No one wanted to live here. No renters, not the man who owned it. But it's a charming house. Yeah, it is. How did we get to have something like this? Ma pinched her lips together in consideration. Then she kept talking. There aren't a lot of opportunities in these woods, I suppose. At my company, the retiring of the former HR manager was the first big position I've ever heard of for this area. And even that didn't open up for people already living in town. I was asked to relocate to take the position. Creases grew around her eyes. The more she thought about it, she caught herself before the frown could follow. Oh, but it's not an issue. I'm grateful. We'll find our place in the slow pace of Golden Grove. And at least we'll have each other regardless. It's great we have each other to talk... It's great we have each other to talk about stuff with. It certainly is. Then your ma stretched her legs out fully across her sleeping bag, wiggling her toes inside the black socks she had on. Seeing Ma there on the floor with you was cool. You didn't hang out together during bedtime like this most nights, so it was special. As you thought about that, your eyelids were trying to tape themselves up with the sticky, gritty stuff that made your eyes... that your eyes made when it was extra late. All right, dear. You should get inside the sleeping bag now, before you blink out on top of it. That sounded like a pretty good idea. Scooping your stuffed animal into both your arms, you shimmied into the open end of the bag. It was made of a fabric that was so smooth it wasn't really difficult to do. You moved further down until the edge was to your chin. You were wrapped up like a loaf of bread in a grocery bag. That's a cute piece of imagery right there. Ma got to her feet, taking a short jog over to the far wall of the room. She lifted a finger to the light switch, but kept her gaze down on you. The expression on her face was gentle. Good night, Andrew. Night, Ma. The room went pitch black with a click. While your eyes were trying to adjust, you heard the shuffling around of Ma. She'd joined you on the floor again. The noises soon stopped. Ma didn't talk anymore. There weren't sounds of cars passing outside. There was a thumping in your ears, and you thought that you might have heard a creak somewhere. The night noises were a lot different than what you had experienced with. They were so quiet and distant, it made you notice them more than if they were clearer. You'd have to get you to know the sounds better. It wasn't another part of the house's personality. And you were okay with that. It was normal to need time to get familiar with each other. You pressed your eyes shut. In your head was thoughts of... Tamarack. Yes, Tamarack. This boy's crushing hard. You fell into a comfy dream that felt like an instant. It was the best kind of sleep. The kind of... that was well earned after a good day. Then your second day in Golden Grove arrived. And I think we're done here. Well, this is the end of our episode. It was honestly a lot shorter than I thought it would be, which is a good thing, but still, it's kind of sad that it's over. I think we'll have about 2 more parts of the series before we run out of time on the demo, but that's okay. If you want to see more, feel free to check out the playlist I'm putting together, and if not, that's cool too. Come back again and join us for the next part of our life, now and forever.